having a difficult time turning around and trying to get everything, up and running and on all the media. So give me just a second. So let's see if we can get this up and running on all platforms. Okay. So apparently and it's not staying still. Oh, this is fun. Okay. So anyway, so let's try this again. Anyway, we are going to be talking tonight a little bit about fevers and colds and what to do. And should you be reducing your fevers? Should you not be reducing your fevers? And why is it such a big deal to reduce your fevers and everything in between? So it's flu season. Let's just say it's sugar season. People are getting sick left and right. You got colds, you got sniffly noses, and along with that comes fevers. And so what do? You're miserable, you're hot. Everybody wants to reach for that over-the-counter medicine to reduce the fever, but should you be doing that? Okay. So fevers are actually part of the immune system. It plays a part in how your immune system can ward off and kill off gunk in your system. Okay. So bacteria and viruses cannot live in the presence of a fever. And high fevers necessarily are not a bad thing. And we need fevers. It actually tells your immune system to produce more white blood cells. The white blood cells are your fighter cells. They protect your body. They go after things like cancer. They go after things like bacteria. They go after things like viruses. So, and the fever actually tells your body to do this. So you actually want a fever. Okay, so fevers are actually very, very important. What constitutes a fever? So, people start panicking over 100, 100-degree Fahrenheit. You know, if you start having a fever, no, you should not treat a fever if it's 100.4, 100.5. If it's 101, you should actually. That's okay. Some you know sites are actually recommending that even 103 and 104 are okay, believe it or not. So, and that a lot of people get very, very scared at that. Most kids have febrile seizures when it spikes really rapidly. When the fevers spike very rapidly, you go from 0 to like 103, like within, a short period of time. And that's, I think, what most kids get, parents get worried about is those febrile seizures. That means that you have a seizure in the presence of a fever. And usually it's a high fever, and usually it's quickly onset, not a gradual increase, but a quick onset. And that can be very, very scary. And I get it. But we still need our fevers to actually help our immune system do its job and fight infection. Okay. So, what are some signs and symptoms that might warrant me to suggest that you actually reduce the fever? So, being very lethargic, not wanting to drink, not necessarily worried about eating. I am more worried about not wanting to drink, not getting enough fluids in. Okay, becoming dehydrated. So you want to be able to push the fluids, and fluids will help to naturally keep you hydrated, keep your electrolytes up. Make sure you're replacing your electrolytes. So adding things like sea salt, Celtic sea salt, Himalayan salt is a good way in the water to replenish electrolytes. If you're a patient of mine, or if you know anybody a practitioner that is selling things like Cellcore, so you can use Cellcore and open up a capsule and add that into the water. Cellcore is fantastic for replacing electrolytes. Okay. Things like, I love Spectramin from Energetics. That is another good one. That is a liquid one, and you can actually add that to the water. Although kids might not like it, because Spectramin is actually from they get their minerals from the Great Salt Lake. So it does not exactly taste the best for kids, but you can add, like I said, CT minerals is great. You can open up the capsule and add that into water. You can even, I don't really necessarily recommend a whole bunch of juice because that's a whole bunch of sugar. However, keep those kiddos hydrated. So I'd rather them having some juice with electrolytes than not drinking at all. So very, very lethargic. This would be another indication that I might recommend treating the fever. So lethargy, being extremely tired, hard to arouse. Okay. So that might be another indication. Again, I'm not necessarily worried about like necessarily being hungry. It's more the thirst drive, and it's more of, being extremely tired and hard to arouse. Those would be good indications for, reducing the fever. So now what can you do to reduce fevers? Well, most people are going to reach for the kids Tylenol or kids ibuprofen or children's aspirin. No, 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 and no. Stay away from that. That can actually cause, so Tylenol is known to be harmful to the liver. Okay. The children's aspirin and ibuprofen and Motrin and things like that has been known to be very toxic to the kidneys and is actually very harsh on the stomach and can lead to, now it might take a while, but it's still not the best. It's got a whole bunch of artificial dyes, artificial coloring. It's actually not very good. It's got artificial flavoring to make it taste good. And these are harsh chemicals that can cause cancer causing. They can cause things like ADD, ADHD, because you have red dyes and all these other different dyes. They're very not good for the system. So what can you do to reduce your fevers naturally? So you can use essential oils, are extremely good. You can make a peppermint essential oil, might be a little bit too strong depending on the child's age. So you can use something like spearmint essential oil, and I would use a therapeutic grade essential oil. And you can mix that with coconut oil or jojoba oil. Again, you kind of want to, it's not going to, it might just tingle on the kid's skin. So that's why I would use these essential oils mixed with like coconut oil or jojoba oil. Usually it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So like 2 drops of jojoba oil per 1 drop of peppermint or spearmint essential oil. So you can use that. Feverfew is an herb, and again, talk with your holistic practitioner or naturopath. If you're seeing one, reach out to them. But feverfew can be really good for kiddos to reduce their fevers. We use in homeopathic remedies too. I love energetics. We have things like Flutone, which helps reduce fevers. It helps with nausea, sinus congestion, anything that has flu-like symptoms. So it's a really good remedy for that. Cat's claw can be another good herb to help reduce fevers. So you can do taking a bath, and you can use essential oils in there as well. Like I would just do very, very minimal and dilute, like only 1 drop or so. But if you do use essential oils, you can put it like on the base of the neck, underneath the armpits. And that's a good way to help to reduce fevers as well. But basically staying hydrated, making sure that they're getting electrolytes, and using some essential oils can be really beneficial. And taking a room temperature bath, not too warm, not too cold, room temperature. It might be cold for the kids, but that is a good way to help reduce the fevers. Especially cool cloths can also help reduce fevers as well. But again, you want that fever to help your body fight infection. So don't reduce your fevers too quickly. Don't be in such a rush. I know that, we're all like, oh my gosh, they're having a fever, and you want to rush and go, stop that fever, reduce that fever right away, but that is actually not good for the body. So it has a benefit to it. What are some things that you can do to help your immune system? Making sure that, again, they're getting plenty of electrolytes, vitamin C, natural forms of vitamin C are really good for the immune system as well. Um, I would not use things like Emergency or whatever. We have a really good supplement, with Standard Process for kids for their immune system to help. We also have something called Cataplex C that you can use, and you can crush the pill and put it in a smoothie for the kids. That's a really good way to get it into. A lot of the over-counter supplements that used to be really good, like Garden of Life and everything like that, is actually now owned by Big Pharma. So even though their ingredient lists haven't necessarily maybe changed, the quality of their ingredient list, I'm sure, is probably not the same. I don't trust any company that is owned or bought by Big Pharma. So you really want to look for supplements that you can find at a chiropractor's office, that you can find at a naturopath's office. Unfortunately, it's making it very difficult for, moms and whatnot to find good quality supplements over the counter, because you just really can't. And like I said, the majority, like 95% of the supplements over the counter are now owned by Big Pharma, which means that their quality of ingredients is not, I don't trust it. So find a good holistic practitioner who has things like Energetics. That's a really good brand. Physicians Formula is a really good brand. Standard Process is really good. CellCore is another good one. So those are just some of the supplement companies that we use here. We use Systemic Formulas, which has liquid supplements easy for the kids to take that can be hidden in, smoothies and things like that. But like I said, you want to really go seek out a chiropractor's office or a naturopath's office or a functional medicine physician who maybe has some herbs and some natural supplements that can only be bought through a practitioner. Those are the kind of supplements that I would actually trust, because over-the-counter ones just are kind of a little bit shady, unfortunately. So if you have any questions, if you need help or want any support during this season, and are looking to help your immune system, help chronic conditions, help acute problems, give us a call. We actually have a special this month for Christmas, and you get a consultation, which is normally $250 for $99. That's 2 appointments, 2 hours of consultation time in total between the 2 appointments. So for $99, and that's this month. If you have an HSA or FSA account, that does pay for office visits and supplements. Give us a call, 708-554-6730. If you're not quite sure and want just more information, we are offering a free discovery phone call. So, and that will kind of let us know, give you an idea of what we do, how we can help you. And it's a 10-minute free phone call. So give us a call, 708-554-6730. Have a good night, guys. Oops.